Libra, this is your week ahead astrology forecast for the week of April 11th through the 17th, 2023. This is going to cover all the major planetary aspects and transits and how they impact your natal sun. Now, I don't know where your natal sun is, you do. And if you want to find out, it's easy. All you got to do is go to a search engine, anyone, and just say free natal chart. There's so many websites out there that'll do it. You need your birth date, your birth time, and your birthplace. You can get that all on your birth certificate. Call up mom if you have to. And then it'll just output where your planets are located, including your sun sign. Clearly, your sun is located somewhere in Libra. If it is located between 0 and 9 degrees Libra, you are Libra 1s because your sun is in the first decan or group of 10 degrees of Libra. If your natal sun is located between 10 and 19 degrees Libra, you are decan 2 or Libra 2 because your sun is located in the second decan of Libra. And if your sun is located between 20 and 29 degrees Libra, you are decan 3 or Libra 3. So it makes a big difference, actually. It's the difference. It could be the difference between a square and a sextile, or a square and a trine, depending on which way you're coming at it. And those are big differences, and that's why I constantly get those comments beneath the tarot card readings. Oh, this isn't happening to me at all. In fact, maybe this happened to me a while ago, or what? Yeah, because if your natal sun is in the beginning of Libra, it's not going to have the same. It's not going to have the same relationship to that Venus position, or the Mars position, or the Pluto position, and you could be coming at it from completely different angles. There you go. So, Libra, first we're gonna start with the broadest, like things that are impacting everybody, and then we're gonna whittle it down to how they are specifically impacting you, and then we're gonna go into the decans to see exactly how it's impacting your natal sun. So starting out, the big transit this week is Venus. Venus is your ruling dignitary, and you should always keep track of where Venus is anyway, but because it's making a major transit into a new zodiac sign today, it's April 11th on Tuesday that Venus is going to go from Taurus, where it is at home. It's at home in both Libra and Taurus. Right now in Taurus, got more to do with financial situations, circumstances, and financial terrestrial, like earthly resource value. And then when it gets into Libra, it has more to do with valuing your loved ones, valuing your partnerships, valuing each other, relationships, or how we value each other within relationships. So she's coming out of Taurus and she's heading into Gemini, which is in a natural trine to Libra. So she will definitely be impacting a specific group of you, mostly because in the beginning of her transit, when she first transits into Gemini, Venus is trine to Pluto, which means there's a bigger impact. There's a more, she's kind of a part of the change that's coming in, and for a specific group of you, you're gonna get the primary impact because Venus is going to be trine to your natal sun. So we're gonna get into that. But when Venus moves into Gemini, it is trine to Pluto until the 15th, which is Saturday. So Saturday, the 15th, the trine she moves too far out, and she's not trine to Pluto anymore. But during that time, that same time frame of Saturday, the 15th, she becomes semi-square to Jupiter, and she stays for the rest of the week semi-square to Jupiter, and she's square to Saturn the entire week. Now Saturn, unlike Pluto, Pluto is at 1 degree, at like 0 degrees Aquarius, whereas Saturn is at 3 degrees Pisces. So it's a little further into Pisces, which means the square will stay all week long. They won't lose any of you. So she is square to Saturn. She is trine to Pluto for most of the week. And then she is also going to be, toward the end of the week, semi-square to Jupiter. Ultimately, there are changes going on, but there's harmony with those changes. There's harmony with extremes. There's harmony with a lot of intensity. There's even harmony maybe with the darker aspects of your spirit or yourself or of life in general. There is tension when it comes to rules, laws, legalities, and regulations. There is a sense of hidden value, digging for that value. Saturn comes with contracts and obligations, and there could be confrontations with authority figures, with parental figures, just having more challenges. It doesn't mean that you can't overcome them. In fact, it's going to challenge you so that you learn and so that you become stronger, set you up for success a little bit later. This is what Venus is doing. Let's talk a little bit about what else is happening this week that's going to impact everybody. There is a conjunction between Mercury and Uranus. So that's a brilliant conjunction. Mercury is actually the lower form or the lower energy of Uranus. Uranus is all about broad and outside of the box thinking, original thoughts that just can't come from what we already know. Thoughts that have to take what we already know and break the rules of what we already know. So this is genius level thought. And then Mercury is day-to-day thought, communications, and information exchange, as well as day-to-day learning and education. So it's almost like in some ways Uranus is Mensa, like genius level, like 172 IQ level, and Mercury is pretty much commonalities, what we already know and understand, and how we exchange that information with each other. When the two of them conjunct, this is a very bright and genius energy, almost a time when a genius can find a conduit into the normal everyday life. And it's like something is discovered, but the work has already been done by Uranus. This is just a sense of disseminating it publicly. So by Friday and through the rest of the end of the week, that conjunction is going to be impacting us all, and we'll talk about how it will impact you specifically. Then we also have a conjunction between the Sun and Jupiter. So the Sun and Jupiter conjunct. They may be conjunct all week, and that energy is pretty intense. What does that energy give us? Well, it gives us confidence, definitely. Everybody will be impacted. They're still in Aries. So it could be body confidence. It could be confidence, like physical confidence. It could be like feeling like we're better and stronger physically, or just as understanding ourselves, understanding our individuality and what an impact it is. But ultimately, it can also make our heads really big. Remember, conjunctions are neither good nor bad. They just are what they are. And there's a lot of thinking a lot of yourself. So if you really need this and you struggle with your self-esteem, this will actually help you. This energy will be actually good for you. But if you don't struggle with your self-esteem, you could be way too big-headed and way too ahead of yourself. And ultimately that could cause some tension and disruption in your life because your expectations far exceed your reality, or what you can realistically expect from the situation. And we'll talk about that conjunction and how it impacts you guys. See, it is essentially in direct opposition to a specific group of Libras, which we're going to get into. So that could actually cause you guys some unexpected obstacles. Let's put it that way. So let's dive into the decans. If you are born on the Virgo Libra cusp, or say you are September Libras, you are 10-1, you are Libra ones. So your natal sun is going to be trine to Venus as she enters Gemini. And as she enters Gemini, she is trine to Pluto. This is intense sexual energy, sensual energy. This is intense romantic energy, could even borderline on obsession, though that's usually more of a conjunction, not a trine. Trines are almost like being able to heal or find a harmony with intensity, or with feeling intensity, with owning your own passion. This could also be a sense of a change that's coming over you, either financially or in terms of your relationships and how you're valued in general. That is going to be trine. So Venus is trine to Pluto But you guys are also, your natal suns are trine to Pluto and trine to Venus. As Venus and Pluto are trine, so Venus, Pluto, and your natal suns are forming a grand trine. So there is a lot of harmony here, a lot of wonderful changes that can come, especially in those areas that Venus rules, and that is finances and sort of what you value, who values you, and what you appreciate and what you care about. So beautiful opportunities could definitely open up for you guys specifically, especially those of you who are born on the Virgo cusp that are real close to the beginning of Libra season. It's especially you guys. So by Sunday the 16th, which is right toward the end of this week, since we go out to the 17th, your natal suns are going to be square to Mars. What does that mean? Impulsivity, overreaction. Like it could be tension, could get into a lot more fights, a lot more hot-headed, taking more risks than you should when it comes to your physical body, your physical self. So just please be aware of that toward the end of this week. There is a lot greater risk for injury toward the end of this week. It will not last forever. It'll last through next week, but just take extra special care of yourself and try to stay away from the impulsivity or being emotionally reactive as well, since that will also be something that comes naturally to you during this time. Your natal suns are going to be quincunx to the North Node. That just means tension when it comes to where your future is headed, maybe not knowing where you want it to go. Very frustrating and challenging. Don't back down from the challenge. Ask the challenge what it's trying to teach you. This is a more long-term aspect that you're going to be dealing with probably through July, until the North Node and the South Node change, and then the North Node is going to be the South Node is going to be conjunct to your natal suns, and you'll be in direct opposition to the South Node, because yes, the North and South Node are moving. Now, it's usually the sign with the North Node in it that has more struggle, more challenges, especially with people around them, since it is their set of values that seem to be shoved down everybody's throats. So Aries is moving into a more troublesome time. You're moving into a more placid time when it comes to the South Node conjuncting your natal suns. It will conjunct your natal suns by July, and so you'll get that first impact of the South Node, which is finding harmony with yourself, with who you are, with what you are capable of, and understanding your past in a way that you can package it to move forward. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Right now, you are also quincunx to Saturn, your natal suns, which is also frustration when it comes to what is expected, expectations from your parents, expectations maybe from yourself or the world, and feeling those pressures, maybe obligations and contracts, trying to settle them or get them done or getting them finished is not going to be easy for you for basically this next year, since that is also a long-term aspect. But especially as Mercury retrogrades, that's going to impact you guys a lot. The Mercury-Uranus, the Mercury-Uranus conjunction is not direct. It's not going to directly impact your natal sun, but if you are a Libra too, it is. So that happens once again by Friday the 15th. It is going to cause a lot of frustration for you, and I think the fact that Mercury is slowing down because it's about to go retrograde on the 21st, right after a new moon, there is a sense of, okay, I'm ready for the new start, but why are things going slowly? And why isn't this paperwork going through? And why is everything seeming so crazy? There will be some sense of challenge here. Where the challenge comes from, probably financial, since this is happening in Taurus. For Libra 2s also, it's you guys whose natal sun is in direct opposition to Chiron. This is a long-term transit. It's going to be there for a couple more years. So there's just a sense of now, since it's not nothing is conjuncting Chiron, and it won't for a while, since all the fast-moving planets have kind of passed it. Neptune isn't moving there anytime quick. Saturn sure as heck isn't, and Pluto's got decades. So So all the other planets are now past Chiron, and that's kind of a relief. It's going to not exacerbate that opposition that's already there. There's constant tension between Chiron and your sun, and what does that mean? Struggling to find a sense of self-worth, especially because Chiron is in Aries when it comes to your body type, how you feel you look, finding satisfaction with your physicality, with your mobility, all of the, maybe even your energy level, just feeling like there's always a challenge to it. Since this isn't in your natal chart, it's a transit, this is something that's going to be ongoing. Maybe yo-yo dieting, maybe not feeling very good, or aches and pains that didn't used to be there, since Chiron is very much associated with like the physical self, especially when it's in Aries. So understand that that's just going to be going on for a while. You have been dealing with that for a while. It's just those other planets, when they come by and they conjunct Chiron, it makes it even worse, right? Because it adds new energy to it. So my good news to you guys is that's all done. The moon will come by again, right? But now even the sun is past it. Jupiter is past it. The sun is past it. The moon will come by once a month. It'll hit it, make it a little bit more emotional for you. But moon doesn't stay long. So ultimately, that's not going to happen this week. It's already past it. So we're good. We're like, you're good. You got this. You can deal with it. Let it try to teach you stuff. Let it help you understand a deeper sense of self-worth by being challenged every day to find it. That's what you can work on for the next year or so. But the worst is past at this point. And then you have after the 16th, so toward the end of this week, your natal suns will square to Mars. Mars is in Cancer, and you'll find that you have a natural square to Mars. This is Libra 2s. What does that mean? Once again, toward the end of the week, watch your punchiness. Watch your punchiness. Like, watch yourself pop off. I'm sorry, you know what, Libra 1s? You are up until Sunday. So it's the beginning of the week that you got to watch out for your punchiness, and don't let yourself take too many risks, or try to calm yourself down, count to 10 before you over exaggerate things or overreact to things. That's up until this weekend. For Libra 2s, it's beginning this weekend into next week that you're really don't take too many physical risks. You could find that you get more injuries if you do. You could find that you're just more hot-headed when your natal sun is square to Mars. And so even though, it's challenging energy, so be aware of it. Libra 3s, you don't have to worry about Mars. But it's your natal suns that are conjunct the current south node if only if you are Scorpio cusps. So those of you born at the very end of Libra season, so that would be like October 20th, maybe 19th, 20th, 21st, if that's not when Scorpio season began, if the sun still fell in Libra. It's you guys in particular that are already conjunct the south node. The south node is just going to get closer as time goes on to you guys, and so that by July it's going to impact you guys first. And the south node is simply where you come from, like who you are, who you were born into this world being, and how have you embraced those gifts? How have you used those gifts? Are you comfortable with who you are? It's a wonderful time to actually get comfortable with your own skills and your own talents and your understanding of, what you're naturally good at, instead of ignoring it. A lot of times it's a time to rediscover what you're naturally talented at. A lot of times we take advantage of it. We don't pay much attention to it because things have always come so easy for us. This is when you start to realize that that's actually a gift that maybe you should be using to help yourself move forward in life. And so as your natal sun conjuncts the south node deeper and deeper over this next year, it's a long-term aspect, and it's actually brings a lot of beauty with it. Your natal suns are also in opposition to Jupiter and the sun this week. So Jupiter conjunct the sun, we talked about it, could give people big heads. And ultimately, this will be yours, or it'll be a time when it's pointed out to you that your natal sun is... If you have a big head about something, it'll be pointed out to you, or you'll be dealing with people that are greatly over exaggerating their abilities and capabilities, and it's constantly going to cause stress, right? Because it's almost the sense of too big a sense of self, kind of versus your true sense of self, or your true value systems, and what's expected of me, or who I'm dealing with on the outside, and how they expect me to treat them versus my level of confidence and my level of understanding about my worth. So that could be something that's very combative or very challenging for you to deal with over this coming week. That's Libra 3s. Please let me know how this energy is impacting you. If you've started to realize that it's already playing out, that would be really interesting to know. Like I said, for Libra 3s in direct opposition to Jupiter, conjunct the sun, since Jupiter and the sun are both in Aries, which is the sign of individuality, and you are the sign of partnership, there is a sense of really finding yourself clashing with somebody's individual needs, right? Somebody's needs and what they want for themselves versus what you thought they meant to you. And that could cause a lot of strain, especially if you did have an intimate partnership. It could be so stressful that it breaks you up, because there's a sense of somebody just thinking so much of themselves and their own goals and their own purpose that they're not even listening to any kind of practical partnership. And it's kind of going to really show you there if there's any equilibrium in your relationships, and if there isn't, it's going to put it in your face, and it's going to be very challenging to put it back into balance. Of course, this could be just a struggle with yourself and your own independence versus your want or need or desire to make a partnership work, in which case it will be especially challenging this week. So you let me know in the comments below. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, and do watch the Libra Born Without Boundaries Tarot Week Ahead Tarot card reading. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye, Libra.